Now, we've got a little bird over here that makes a noise, wheeta, wheeta, wheetio. And when it sings, I'll point it out, but it's a hooded warbler. The loud one, wheeta, wheeta, wheetio. You still hear the black and white over here too. And the scarlet tanager over on this side sounds like a robin with a sore throat, the scarlet tanager does. Now this bird that we're hearing now that has that more of a fluty sound to it, now that is the wood thrush. It's getting louder because we're getting closer to it. Right there, wood thrush. Wood thrush. Wood thrush. Can you hear the fluty song? Right there. It has like a little roll at the end of the song sometimes. Right there, wood thrush. We can estimate how many birds are flying overhead, and typically at this time of year, on any given night, we'll have hundreds of millions of birds that will be flying overhead, and they may be like 2,000 or 3,000 feet above the ground. And we have now discovered that you can actually record what they're talking about. So we are making sound recordings now of these migratory birds flying overhead, and when they talk as they migrate, they have these completely different sounds that they make. It's not like the daytime communication. These Paria acrospecores is the scientific name. Now another really common fern that will stay green all year long is called
the pink gills. And
it is.
The Entelomas too, they don't necessarily look like this either. So there's a lot of Entelomas that look totally different. But this is kind of your typical presentation of an Enteloma mushroom.
Wow.
Really cool.
In your corn, bats will eat the moth that puts the egg in the corn that grows into that worm. So if you let bats fly over your garden, you don't try to kill the bats, you don't try to get rid of the bats, that can actually make your garden healthier and better naturally, instead of using so many pesticides. Perhaps you could use a little less and let the bats do what they do. And they eat mosquitoes and gnats and things like that that are just pests. So bats are really beneficial for that purpose. And they're beneficial for other purposes as well. They are fruit eaters, like in Southeast Asia. Like you said, it's a sunny spot back there. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it was interesting. Help me in my earth science a whole lot of times. He's going to talk a little bit about the high knob anticline. When the mountains fold, you have a syncline and an anticline. And the top of it is weaker. So this is why we have our gorgeous, look at how that's.
I'm going to show the Cumberland overthrust block first. And Bonnie brought a beautiful map here. And right here is a right lateral strike slip fault that forms the northeastern end of the Cumberland overthrust block. And it's this big piece of continental crust. The southwest end of it is actually off the map here just a little bit near Jacksboro, Tennessee. This is the northwestern side marked by Pine Mountain, and then the southeast limb is marked by the High Knob Massif in the Powell Valley anticline, this big anticline here. And this is what I define myself as the high knob landform. So why did I call it the high knob landform? Well, I consider it to be much more than just a geologic structure. The Powell Valley anticline is the bones of it. It's like the human body. The Powell Valley anticline is like our skeleton. But the human body contains a lot more than just a skeleton. We have all these different organs and all these different systems, and that's what the high knob landform is. It contains everything. But the Powell Valley anticline, this area here, and this is the northwestern side, this is the southeastern side. And it's been eroded down here to where the southeastern flank is not real prominent anymore. But the northwestern flank is along Pine Mountain and Cumberland Mountain. This is actually Little Stone Mountain. This is called Stone Mountain, and then when you get down here, it's called Cumberland Mountain, but it's all the same mountains. You can actually start out at Flag Rock and go all the way to Cumberland Gap National Park, and you'll be on the exact same mountain the whole way. The only time you have to get off would be Powell Valley Overlook, Big Stone Gap, the gap in the mountain, Pennington Gap, and then down here at the famous Cumberland Gap. Now, this area here is what I define as the High Knob Massif, because it is the last remaining remnant of what this whole area was once like. You see how it goes from southeastern base to northwestern base, and it still is a consolidated mountain? Well, this whole area was like that.
And in some cases, one of the surprises for us, unpleasant, was that some of the bone had, through damage probably due to the erosion in the water, was now almost chalky in consistency, which is really scary because the rock is so much harder. So preparation is very much continuing to this day because we have to go incredibly slowly with small hand tools, small vibrating drills called air scribes that we use to cut away at that rock. But fortunately, we have a wonderful technician and a volunteer who are just absolutely dedicated to getting it out of the ground. So here are the hind legs. You can see the bones of the shank, the tibia, and the fibula, which is up on the screen, because they're one of the things that's remarkable is like just the level of fitted togetherness, articulation that is still present in the skeleton. All of the tiny bones of the foot and every toe down to the bone that supported the claws are completely intact. And this is a chain of vertebrae from the lumbar region of the lower back. Some of them are just exceptionally well preserved. If you found them sitting in a field today, you would think it came from a modern animal.
We got some ground cedar here.
I like ground cedar. I don't know what it is about it, but I always thought it was ground cedar. Reminds me of like, I don't know if it's a sea urchin that it reminds me of. Something in the center one. Yeah. They're kind of spread out instead of like in a massive group. And there's no.
Some interesting looking moths. Watering trough. There's no water, sorry guys.
No water.
Yeah. So, Clinch Coalition table.
Yep, Clinch Coalition. Got some fossils that Sharon found on her property.
Ooh.
Got some merch people can take, or you can sign up. This is not our newest newsletter, but it's I think it's the one that came out right before that. And then a write-up that took place about the spearhead trails
Uh-huh.
and their impact on the environment. Yeah.
Very cool. 25th anniversary.
Yep, this was last year, I reckon.